What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch at This Is Aftersound, so come by and say hello. Okay, I wanted to take a quick moment here to talk about summoners because I've been tracking the prices on summoners, and there were some that I was surprised to see as low as they were. Now, normally I am primarily looking at the Chaos Legion summoners, and I'm really just looking at the rare ones right now. So, you know, your Kelia, Obsidian, Tarsa, Thaddeus, and General Sloan. But what I noticed is there were a couple of other summoners from Untamed and Dice that are below the $4 mark, which is where we're seeing the rest of the summoners, right? The Chaos Legion. Although Tarsa, Thaddeus, and General Sloan, as of today, or at least the last couple of days, I should say, have consistently been under the $3 mark. And I'm really kind of hoping that they go under the $2 mark at some point. I think that would be awesome. And I do believe that that is actually a very big possibility due to the fact that we haven't even opened 4 million of the packs yet. So that whole like flooding of the market where all of a sudden like there'd be a ton of cards. Well, we are not even at 33% of the cards opened. I'm sorry, packs opened and cards available. So there's still a lot of cards sitting on the sideline that I do believe will be coming in at some point between now and or shortly after the end of the airdrop. But that's a little bit of an aside. The ones I wanted to focus on are the ones here: Contessa, Vera, and Kid Yuff. Each of these under $4, and if you had been buying summoners over the past or leveling up summoners over the past couple of weeks or even past couple of months, as soon as Chaos Legion launched, I was buying some of these Chaos Legion summoners in the $4 range. So now to see some of these older cards in that range as well has me very excited. So a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, there are no new cards coming in, right? So and let me actually get rid of Chaos Legion so we can just focus on these guys. So Contessa, Vera, Kid Yuff. I mean, you could even look at like Drake of Arnok at $6, but let's not break the bank. Okay, let's just look at anything sub $4. So looking at these cards specifically, I've never been the biggest fan of Vera. I know people like her, but it seems like a very one and done use for me in the in some of those matches. Now, Contessa to me is probably one of the most interesting, just because Death is so good at being a debuff or an anti rather than a pro play or whatever. That was a terrible way to call it. We'll just call it like a debuff or like anti-opponent. I'm struggling here. So for example, like Thaddeus Brood will be your -1 magic, Contessa's your -1 ranged, and then back in beta you had Zintar, which is -1 melee damage. And then we got something interesting here with magic protection and ouster, right? So this is a crux for like a critical point, I should say, for Death. And this is something that I'm actually considering. Now, I haven't bought any of these cards, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not really spending on cards. I've become an SPS addict, so a lot of my funds are going to SPS while it's like at this kind of 11 to 12 cent range. But I did want to call out these cards because I find their price points interesting. So like I said, the first point is that they are already fully in circulation. Sure, there are some untamed packs that have not been opened yet, but for the most part, this is where they're going to be. There's only 11,000 of them, and if you compare it to where Chaos Legion is, there's already 39,000, and there's 39,000. We'll just say 40,000 of these summoners, and we haven't even opened 4 million packs out of the total 15 million yet. So there are going to be a lot of these guys hitting the market. So that's why I'm saying when I look at these cards and say, oh, there's like some opportunity here to be able to play with summoners that have one, a lower mana cap, two, one was the fact that the circulation is done already. Two is a lower mana cap. It's only 3, and the third part, and probably the most, I don't know. I don't know if I want to say this is the most important, but most interesting. And unfortunately, I don't own any of these cards, so I can't show it to you right now. You're just going to have to take my word for it. But all of these cards have double the what is that called? Collection power. So as you can see, you know what? I do own Mylar. So you can see here that Mylar has 40 collection power for a level 1 and 1 BCX. when I go to my other own summoners, for example, Obsidian, you can see that 1BCX only has 20. So if you are looking for power to go along with your summoners, and again, the price difference between buying a Mylar versus buying Obsidian, for example, is quite large. But if you look at it from a Thaddeus Brood and Contessa, it's like $1, maybe $1.30 difference to go for one or the other. And in this case, like I said, Contessa is probably the one that I'm most interested in. In this case, this is great because of the fact that it complements the rest of your summoner as well. So for example, one of the things that I hate is that whenever I play a game where there's no magic and I want to play death, I still have to use Thaddeus Brood, who has one debuff essentially wasted. Yes, I still get away with something nice because everybody gets -1, but it'd be awesome if I had Contessa to complement that in a fuller deck. And what's great again about these cards, right? Let me go through and call them out. These last 3 cards here, Contessa, Vera, and Kid Yuff, is that they are all modern format eligible. So you'll be good for the next year plus until Rebellion comes out. So Vera, I spoke about briefly. It's good for the Earthquake rule set, but I don't know. It's not appealing to me. Kid Yuff is the other one that would be interesting. There is, there's a lot of focus on just brute strength and power within the fire decks and fire monsters specifically. So this is something that could be interesting, giving all of your monsters Pierce, because there are a lot of cards that give them Inspire already, or something that like Inspire is the +1 melee ability that gives, it's given to all of your monsters. So for example, the monster that I know here, and again, this is at a higher league, so it's not, it's not maybe the best example, but you can essentially use like Tusk the Wide as your pseudo Tarsa, because Tusk the Wide gives Inspire at level 4. And all of a sudden now you get that +1 melee, and you are doing pierce damage to all of your opponents. So something to think about. Again, like I said, it's just interesting to see how low in price these summoners have gotten, because they were maybe 3x at just a couple of months ago. And again, it's interesting to see them kind of in the same range, despite the fact that they have, 1, a higher collection power, and 2, there's no more new cards hitting the market. So maybe they're just not that good. But when I was playing with primarily a starter deck, right, I would use Contessa all the time. Obviously, Kid Yuff was never in the starter deck. Kid Yuff and Vera were never in the starter deck because of the fact that they are from the Dice Mini Edition. But Contessa was there, and I would use Contessa whenever it made sense. So again, like I said, these are just 3 cards I'm looking at. I haven't bought any, and to be honest with you, I am not planning on buying anything just because I'm an SPS addict. So it's hard for me to put anything towards anything else at this point in time. But I think it's worth considering, just because of the fact that it seems as though there's going to be a lot more of these cards, the Chaos Legion Summoners, in circulation, and a lot more hitting the board later. So you may have time to load up on those at a later date. And so taking advantage of where these card prices are at now could be interesting. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't go lower. The entire market can go lower if Bitcoin nukes. But, if the market were to pick up again, keep in mind there is a limited quantity on these that is much less, right? Like 15x or like 1 out of 15. 1/10, 10% in terms of overall circulation versus the Chaos Legion Summoners. All right, so that's all I have for you in this video. Hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, even though I'd been paying attention to the market, I was kind of surprised to come across these cards at the prices they were at. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a heads up in case you were interested. I will catch you all in the next video. I will see you around the game. Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone.